Imagine working so hard to finally buy the house of your dreams, whatever that house may look like for you, and moving into it with the love of your life ready to raise your family and create happy memories. When suddenly you start receiving anonymous, threatening letters in your mailbox about you and your family being watched. That's exactly what happened to the Broaddus family. Recently, The Watcher came out on Netflix. It's a limited series that tells the story of a family moving into their newly bought home in New Jersey. The neighborhood is something out of a storybook, and the couple looks forward to raising their kids here. But of course, things swiftly take a dark turn. Within a very short period of time after moving in, the family starts being harassed with anonymous letters. Letters that are simply signed by The Watcher. And these letters soon turn into more dangerous attacks. Sounds too terrifying to be true, but it is. And in all candidness, it's a great show. I highly recommend watching it. But I will say the story portrayed in the series is definitely played up for more drama. So in this video, let's take a look at what really happened behind the glamorized story told in The Watcher. It was June 2014 in Westfield, New Jersey. A couple by the names of Derek and Maria Broaddus had just closed on an amazing house in a beautiful neighborhood. The house was over 3,800 square feet, 6 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, and it was built in 1905. It was the perfect family home with an ideal location, or so the family thought. Only a mere 3 days after closing on the house, the Broaddus family received a strange letter in their mailbox. It came in a white envelope with large block letters that stated "the new owner," and it had no return address. Inside the cryptic envelope was a typed letter that started by saying,
"Dearest new neighbor at 657 Boulevard, allow me to welcome you to the neighborhood."
A little creepy being anonymous, but nothing too nefarious. Yet. The author of the letter continued on explaining of the house, that it approaches its 110th birthday, and the writer had been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. Pretty weird, right? Apparently the tendency to stalk this family home was somewhat of a generational tradition for the Watcher, because their letter also stated that,
"My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s, and my father watched in the 1960s.
Then the writer mused,
It is now my time."
The writer also asked the couple,
"Do you know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard? Why are you here? I will find out."
The letters continued to get more and more threatening towards the couple and their family. Apparently, the writer had figured out that Derek and Maria wanted to make some renovations to the old home and scolded them in the letter before beginning to threaten their kids with the words,
"Was your old house too small for the growing family? Or was it greed to bring me your children? Once I know their names, I will call to them and draw them to me."
As a father myself, receiving a letter like that would have fueled me with anxiety. At this point, the writer signed off with a few parting words.
"Welcome, my friends. Welcome. Let the party begin. Signed, The Watcher."
The Watcher didn't seem inclined to stop writing the family after the first message and continued to send a second letter a few weeks after the first one. This letter contained the following statements, among other things.
"The workers have been busy, and I have been watching you unload carfuls of your personal belongings. Have they found what is in the walls yet? In time, they will. Will the young blood play in the basement, or are they too afraid to go down there alone? I would be very afraid if I were them. It is far away from the rest of the house. If you were upstairs, you would never hear them scream."
As of the second letter, the writer had started to refer to their kids as young blood.
657 Boulevard is my job, my life, my obsession. And now you are too, Broaddus family.
This letter caused the Broaddus family to stop bringing their kids to the home and cease moving in. The Watcher took note of this, and it caused another letter to be delivered to this distraught family. This one eerily asked,
"Where have you gone to? 657 Boulevard is missing you."
Obviously, the Broaddus family no longer had a desire to move into 657 Boulevard, and they tried over the next few years to sell the property. But word eventually got out, and potential buyers were swiftly put off when they found out about the terrifying letters and the stalker attached to the old home. Out of desperation, the family tried to have the house torn down, but legal issues prevented them from doing so. This would anger the writer that they hadn't heard from in years. The final letter sent by the stalker was their most aggressive one yet. They seemed to be taunting the family, saying,
"You wonder who the Watcher is? Turn around, idiots. Maybe you even spoke to me. Or maybe you do know and are too scared to tell anyone. Good move."
Then the Watcher described his annoyance about how the family brought so much media attention to my neighborhood and their attempt to have the house torn down. Then came the threats.
"Maybe a car accident. Maybe a fire. Maybe something as simple as a mild illness that never seems to go away but makes you feel sick day after day."
And finally, the Watcher gave their very last statement.
"You are despised by the house. and the Watcher won.
The wicked part about this is that the Watcher was never found, and any suspects the police may have had were ruled out. There was a reclusive neighbor that many suspected to be the Watcher, but he was proven innocent, and as was his sister when she was later investigated, and this brother and sister were both portrayed in the series. Eventually, in 2019, just a few years ago at the time of this shooting, the Broaddus's were able to sell the home to a new family who have not received any scary letters as of today. Well, at least none that we actually know about. I guess they're able to enjoy this historical home without any darkness encroaching on their happiness, which is great for them. And as for the Broaddus's, they're also living happily now that they've finally been able to end this horrifying chapter in their lives. We may really never know who was behind those letters, who the Watcher is. I hope you enjoyed this story. Make sure to subscribe for more horror and crime related content, and I will see you in our next case.